Have you ever looked up at a spider weaving its web in a quiet, forgotten corner and wondered why it chose that spot? Why not the center of the room, where all the action is? Well, the people of Ghana have a story for that, a tale about the clever trickster, Anansi the spider. And believe it or not, it wasn't always this way. Long, long ago, Anansi was not an outcast lurking in the shadows. He was the heart of the village, the most respected creature in all the land. His magnificent web wasn't just a home. It was the village's information superhighway. It stretched from the chief's hut to the marketplace, from the farmer's fields to the riverbank. Every thread connected every part of the community. If you needed advice, you went to Anansi. If you wanted to hear a captivating story, you went to Anansi. If you had a problem that seemed impossible to solve, Anansi had the clever solution. He was the center of everything, and everyone knew it. But with great respect came great pride. Anansi started to look at his web, not as a tool to serve the community, but as a symbol of his own importance. He saw the threads stretching everywhere and believed it was he who held the entire village together. He forgot that the web was just a connection. The real strength came from the people it connected. His heart grew puffed up with his own cleverness, and he began to see himself as above everyone else. The storyteller became a king in his own mind, and his web became his throne. This shift in Anansi's spirit was put to the test when the village began to prepare for the Great Yam Festival. This wasn't just any party. It was the most important event of the year, a celebration of the harvest, of community, and of life itself. The entire village buzzed with energy and purpose. Everyone had a role to play. The air filled with the rhythmic thump-thump-thump of women pounding yams into soft, delicious fufu. The strong backs of the men bent as they cleared the festival grounds, making way for the celebration. The laughter of children echoed as they scampered back and forth, their small arms laden with firewood for the celebratory bonfire. Even the elders, with their wise, wrinkled faces, were busy, preparing the sacred prayers and blessings for the community. It was a beautiful symphony of cooperation. And where was Anansi in all of this? He was right there, in the very center, but he was not a part of it. He sat comfortably in his web, high above the bustling activity, watching. He did not lift a single leg to help. He felt he was far too important for such menial tasks. Helping was for others. His job, he decided, was to direct. From his high perch, his voice would drift down, sharp and commanding. "You there with the pestle, pound with more rhythm." He'd shout, "You men, that drum is not in the right place. Move it to the left. Children, that's not enough wood. Go fetch more, and faster this time." The villagers who had once sought his advice now flinched at his commands. A quiet resentment began to simmer beneath the surface of their hard work. They were tired of his bossiness, of his arrogance. He was acting less like a wise advisor and more like a demanding overseer who contributed nothing but criticism. Still, out of respect for the Anansi they once knew, they said nothing. They simply continued their work, their shared effort weaving them closer together, even as Anansi's pride was weaving him further apart. He was so busy watching everyone else work that he failed to see he was becoming an outsider in his own home. Finally, the day of the Yam Festival arrived. The village transformed. The beat of the drums was a living pulse that thrummed through the very ground. Dancers, their bodies glistening with sweat and painted with intricate designs, moved like living flames around the central fire. The air was thick with the delicious, mouth-watering aroma of roasted yam, savory stews, and sweet palm wine, all laid out on woven mats for the grand feast. It was a picture of pure joy and communal celebration. High above, Anansi watched, and his stomach rumbled. This was his festival too, or so he thought. He descended from his web, expecting a hero's welcome. He walked confidently towards the dancers, ready to join their joyful circle. But as he approached, the dancers seemed to move closer together, their swirling bodies forming an impenetrable wall. There was no space for him. He tried again, a little confused, but the circle remained closed. Shrugging it off, he made his way toward the feast, his eyes fixed on a steaming pile of fufu. But just as he reached for it, a dozen other hands got there first. He tried to grab a piece of roasted meat, but someone else was quicker. He tried to dip his gourd into the palm wine, but the gourds of others blocked his path. Everywhere he turned, every move he made, he was gently but firmly pushed to the edges of the activity. It wasn't aggressive, it wasn't mean, but it was clear, he was not part of the inner circle. Confused and frustrated, Anansi stood at the fringe, watching the community he once thought he was the center of. Just then, a wise old elder, her eyes holding the depth of many seasons, beckoned him over. She sat calmly, watching the festival with a gentle smile. Anansi, she said softly, her voice like the rustling of dry leaves. Why do you look so troubled? Why do you try so hard to sit at the center of the celebration? Anansi, his pride pricked, gestured grandly with one of his legs. Because I belong at the center. I am the cleverest of all. My web connects everything and everyone. I am the most important one here. The elder listened patiently, then shook her head, a slow, sad motion. Ah, Anansi, she sighed. Your web connects. This is true. But a connection is not the same as creation. The web watches, but it does not work. It observes, but it does not build. The center, she said, gesturing to the laughing, dancing, eating villagers. The center belongs to those who labor together. It belongs to the hands that pound the fufu and the feet that clear the ground. You have not worked with us. You have only watched from above. In your pride, Anansi, you have woven yourself out of the circle. Anansi truly looked, for the first time. He saw the villagers, their hands joined in the dance, their faces bright with shared laughter, their strength coming from their unity. He saw the beautiful, powerful thing they had built together, without him. And in that moment, a profound sadness washed over him as he understood what he had lost. It wasn't just a place at the feast. It was his place in the community. He had traded belonging for importance, and had ended up with neither. With his head hung low, humbled and heartbroken, Anansi slowly retreated from the festival's warm glow. He found a quiet, dusty corner at the very edge of the village, far from the center. There, he wove a small, simple, humble web. A home, not a throne. And from that day forward, Anansi and all his descendants have lived in the corners of the world. Not because they are shunned or unwanted, but as a constant, silent reminder of a lesson learned the hard way. The story teaches us that true belonging, a real place in a community, is not earned by watching from on high or by believing you are more important than others. It is earned with your own hands, by working alongside others, by sharing in the labor and the laughter. A community is built by those who participate, not by those who merely observe. So the next time you see a spider in a corner, maybe you'll remember Anansi and his story. It's a quiet reminder that the heart of any group is found in the shared effort, not in the isolated observer. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tales.